What's going on, guys? My name's Jake, you're watching Meat Sauce, and today I am back with another piece of tech, this time the Kaiser Baas XS3 gimbal. What? So, why did I decide to get this piece of tech this time? Well, besides my wicked spending habit, I always wanted one of these, ever since I started YouTubing, basically just for your smoother footage, and at the end of the day, smoother footage is better footage. And it comes to anything, whether I'm going to be doing vlogs, or I'm going to be doing vlogs, or I'm going to be doing just recording B-roll footage of, might be a piece of tech that I'm trying to record, just get smoother zoom in and outs and all that kind of thing without using dollies and all that. That's what I got this for, in hopes that I can get some better footage. And if you see my last video on the 65Ts, which you can find a link for in the description below, I used that for that. And yes, the footage was still a little bit shaky, but overall still better than if I was just going to be using my hand and trying to do pans and zoom ins and all that kind of thing. So overall, so far so good. These things normally go for, they're pretty pricey, usually. Fucking usually. But this time I seen this puppy at JD Hi-Fi for 140 bucks or 139, which is cheap as fucking chips when it comes to this kind of stuff. The next one up is your DJI Osmo, and that one's what, in 200 and something bucks? $210, $209, the DJI Osmo Mobile 2. This one's 140 bucks, so I was like, I've been looking for one for ages, fucking ages. I've been looking on eBay, and there's the Crane and the Zujin or whatever it's called, and they look amazing, but at the same time, they don't have this value that this one does. So I went with it. I was like, fuck it, give it a go. So the pros is that the footage, yes, is definitely smoother. I'll put some video over the top of this to show that. It has support for pretty much the largest phones you can get. I use my Galaxy Note 8. It works for phones up to 200 grams, which is plenty when it comes to just using a mobile phone. I think Note's 160 grams or something like that. It's got support for GoPro cameras, has a little plate that you can put in there and use your GoPro, so if that's your thing, you're planning on using GoPro, go ahead and do that as well. Has controls for pan and tilt. This little nub here, the old tilt going, pan, sorry. And tilt. A little bit more on that later. It connects relatively quickly over Bluetooth. It has a 3000 milliamp hour battery bank inside, which is more of just like a benefit, I guess. You wouldn't really, I haven't felt the need to use it yet, but it is handy just knowing that you can bring this with you and charge your device at the same time, just using that USB port here. 3000 milliamp, you're probably going to get one extra charge in your bigger phone, maybe 0 to 80 in a phone like the Note 8. While you've got it on, have it off and you get a full charge, but if you're going to run it on, then yeah, so you probably get about 80% out of it. The battery life itself of the device, if you're not using it as a battery bank, you'll probably get around, they advertise 10 to 12 hours. I've only charged this thing once and I've used it a whole lot of times, so I'd say that they're pretty accurate with that. It's only running some small motors and everything like that inside, so yeah, 8 to 10 hours, wouldn't be surprised. It's long enough anyway for, if you're going to be doing like a full day's recording, I'd say it's going to last you kind of thing. Just chuck it on charge between recording and you'll be fine. It's got a comfortable grip, definitely for my hand at least. You know, it's molded and everything like that, so it's definitely comfortable to use. And the companion app also comes with a panoramic feature to take photos at a proper rate. Is it better than using just your panoramic mode with the standard camera? That's disputable. I'd say it's probably around the same as just using the swoop. Fucking don't buy a gimbal just for that feature. So the shit that's kind of okay is the companion app is good. It's great that they came out with one, but it just lacks a little bit in features. So basically it comes with a facial tracking feature, which again I'll show you now. And basically the facial tracking works reasonably well, except if it loses your face, it can, like, the gimbal gets a little bit confused, as you've just seen in the video. When it does notice your face, it's very responsive. It'll follow you around like a motherfucker, which is great. But yeah, just every now and then, depends on the lighting and everything. Like, if going from a bright area to a dark area, it's probably going to lose your face. It's all, I don't know, it could definitely use some improvement, but it is handy to use. The object tracking is just plain shithouse. It rarely works properly. When it does work, it works okay, but to get it to work, conditions have to be perfect. So you're gonna have like a dark object on a bright background for it to properly recognize that, and it just loses the fucking thing all the time. Just disappointing, but at the same time, at this price point, you can't really expect the research and development to be that great. It's definitely not a DJI level. I mean, I've never used a DJI Osmo, but I'm assuming that they probably use the same tech as what the Mavics use, and that's really good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's really good, and this does not compare slightly. So Yeah, that brings me on to the next app limitation, is that it only records 1080p 30 frames per second, which is disappointing as shit because, I mean, if your phone only does 1080p 30, then that's fine, but for me and most other people with most phones these days, they record 4K 30 and 1080p 60 or 1080p 120. So I don't really understand why this has been limited to 1080p. Maybe it's a image processing feature that it can't handle 4K images at the moment. I don't know. It's it really sucks, and it shouldn't be 1080p. And it actually advertises on the website as 720p 30, which is just confusing because the app definitely does 1080p 30 frames a second. So fuck knows. The setup itself isn't the easiest process, especially if you're not used to this kind of equipment. I mean, it does come with a manual and a guide, and it's relatively simple to follow, but just make sure you read it properly, read it thoroughly as you're setting it up, and you'll get there, you'll get the device set up, and then once you've set it up for the first time, after that it's fine. It's like you'll never forget it, and you'll breeze through it every single time. But you will need to recalibrate this device pretty much every time you put your phone in, because basically it will become unbalanced just from pulling your phone in and out, and then the next time you put it in, it'll be slightly imbalanced, so you just got to balance again. It's not a big deal, but just a minor thing. The cons. The shitty shit of the shit is basically Kaiser Baas's quality control seems to be pretty shithouse in the way that basically I bought this device the first time and JB Hi-Fi, brought it home, went to plug it in, and it didn't even turn on. Like, I wouldn't even get a charging light plugging this thing in because it recommends you charge it to full capacity the first time you use it. It's all good, no dramas, but it wouldn't even turn on. I couldn't turn it on, couldn't put charge in it. It was just dead on arrival. It's just kind of like, okay, no worries, I'll return it, which I did. JB Hi-Fi were great about it. They gave me a fucking new one. It took about 15 minutes by the time I went through all their fucking shit. Gave me a new one, took this one out of the box, plugged it in. Light came on, turned on, everything was sweet, except there's like fucking dodgy marks on it. Like these cunts. Look, see these? It's like nothing major, but it's like a glue or something, but it's just, this is brand new out the box and it came with that shit. And so it's like, their quality control obviously needs to improve because that is not really acceptable, especially when you're buying a new product. But I couldn't be fucked returning that again. As much as my missus wanted me to return it, I just could not be fucked. So I was like, whatever, I'll take it, it's fine. It's something I can deal with. So just kind of, maybe if you do decide to buy one of these, if you buy it in store, check it as soon as you leave the store, or even in the store, whatever your fucking thing is. Maybe carry a power bank on you at the same time so you can check the charging, which is something that you shouldn't have to do, but do it anyway, just in case. And the next only real issue I had with this is that basically the pan and tilt, they're really slow. Like, I mean, the manual control, and I know for a fact that it can go faster because when you're using facial tracking, this motherfucker slides all over the fucking joint. But this one, it doesn't when you're just controlling with the thing, and you can't change that within the settings of the app or anything like that. So that's a little bit annoying. I like, you know, you need the smooth movements, but at the same time, quick movements would be appreciated as well because we're not all fucking turtles. We can move a little bit faster, so that would have been nice, but it's, yeah, it doesn't exist. So if you're trying to do your manual control, don't expect to keep up with anything moving too quickly because you'll lose your subject. So you're gonna have to get used to moving, panning and everything like preemptively, I guess. Rather than that, yeah, that's pretty much my only real gripes with this, including the mares and the cons. They kind of intertwine. The mares are basically borderline cons, but they're not too bad. They're not game fucking changes. They're not showstoppers, but they could be better. So, is it worth it? Is this cunt fucked? I think yes, it is worth it because at its price point, you're not really going to beat it, and for now at least. I mean, it's $70 cheaper than the competition, the DJI Osmo. It's hard to say no, especially $140, especially just starting off. I would definitely recommend this as just a play around device. However, it's definitely a you get what you pay for situation. The app development doesn't have its features. The algorithms are nowhere up to fucking par with DJI. And the one major saving point here for me is basically the fact that you don't have to use the app. I just use the stock camera app with Samsung, so I can still do my 4K recording and stabilized video and everything like that. You're going to miss out on a few features like changing the gimbal controls with the locking which axes and all that kind of thing. You're going to lose your facial tracking, your object tracking, which are pretty shit house anyway, so you're only losing out on a few things, but for the sake of better video recording. So there's a situation that you'd use each one of these for, but overall, you'll probably be like me and you're just going to end up using your stock video app, stock camera app. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. My name's Jake, you're watching Meat Sauce. Throw any questions that you have in the comments below. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. I probably missed out a few things, or if you're not sure about this gimbal, or found it cheaper or more expensive, I'll tell you if it's worth it. Otherwise, hit the like button, and see you in the next video. Catch you later guys, have a good one.